Dragon's one of the most famous video games of all time. It's often praised for molding the beat-em-up genre, but in reality, the producer's previous game, Niketsu ko Hakunio-kun, did this first. It was the first game to simulate fights in a 3D environment, and do so very well. It's only 1986, and Mr. Kishimoto already figured out it's fun to throw screaming punks into pits and currents. Double Dragon just improved that by adding 2 players and an arsenal of weapons to batter some bones. I think you get it. I'm not your gaming historian, but I'll gladly tell you Double Dragon 2 is worth playing today. No disrespect to Double Dragon 1. Double Dragon 1's also fun, but... Technos didn't think of everything players might do, so the enemies have no answer for the almighty elbow, and a few other moves. Now, they could have just improved the AI, patched the ROM, and called it a day. Arcade game updates were uncommon, but not unheard of. Hello, Donkey Kong. But Kishimoto insisted this upgrade packs a punch. Alongside the enhanced AI, Technos redid all the art with Fisted and North Star paint, told a deeper story without saying a word, made crazier stages with wilder hazards, and gave the Lee brothers deadly new moves they'd have in all their other games. The result is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Note everything good I have to say about Double Dragon 2 also applies to the first if you're not spamming the elbow. Now, on to why Double Dragon 2, and to a lesser extent 1, are still the greatest. Starting with reason 1. I don't gotta tell you how cool this game looks. Instead of using modern 80s clothes for its looks, Double Dragon 2 borrows its best from lots of famous shows and martial artists, all of which are attractive and well known for striking cool poses in their films. Look at these dudes! Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Hart, and the baddest mother of all, you, playing as a mix of Bruce Lee and Kenshiro. All exceptional figures that push the human body to its limits from keeping themselves in excellent shape. It inspires me to hit the gym and shed a few pounds myself when I'm done playing. But that's just how the game looks. Everyone involved with Double Dragon 2 strived for excellence in how it plays too, both in the basics and its innovative 3D environments. If you're used to how beat-em-ups play today, Double Dragon 2 takes a little getting used to. But rest assured, the controls are responsive and comprehensive as they should be. Rather than moving the joystick left or right to face that way before pressing punch, Double Dragon 2 uses 3 buttons all lined up in a row. The button on the left throws a leftward punch, the button on the right strikes whatever's on your right, and the middle one makes you jump. Pressing combinations of these buttons lets you use more complex moves, like the elbow bash or jump kick. It's not that many buttons compared to the games we get today. You shouldn't have a hard time adapting after a few minutes. But if that's still too unwieldy for you, the Steam version on Double Dragon Trilogy modernizes it, so all you have to do is turn the direction you want to attack like Final Fight, making your complaints null and void. Beyond the basics, beat-em-ups as a whole lived in simulated 3D since the beginning, your man needing free reign to step anywhere to avoid incoming attacks. What Kishimoto did was make the hazards in that world more elaborate, keeping up with how fast computers were improving. First, the death pits begging for bodies in Kunio. Then here, in Double Dragon 2, a great assortment of weapons, big and small, either on the ground or carried by enemies. My favorite of which are the grenades. You'll line these suckers up climbing down the stairs, then kaboom! That's so satisfying. But everything else scattered around, like the knives or your Counter-Strike loot boxes, provide just as much chaos and utility. Yeah, your standard kick's a little more efficient. So what? The box is almost as good. It's another outlet for making these boys pay for shooting up your girl. Sometimes you don't gotta do anything. The game's rampant tractors will gladly grind some guys into fresh beef for your amusement. Hoo-hoo! That's nasty! This isn't just fun, nor is it just strategy, like you'd see in R-Type. It's a sandbox, in which everything provided to you is a valid answer to the problems you'll face. The door's wide open for you to create your own fun challenges, like only using the box as long as you can, refusing weapons entirely for more points, and so much more I likely didn't think of. It's a sandbox that's topped off with pretty intelligent enemies for 1988. Their stupidity from Double Dragon 1 isn't completely gone. These knuckleheads are still easy to lure into pits when there are some. But that's not most of the game. These tough customers discourage brainlessly punching since they'll keep their distance if you attack too soon, and tend to jump kick without warning. This unpredictability keeps the game fun no matter how many times you replay it. You never know how Chuck Norris is gonna act this time, or if he's gonna be completely reckless and try jumping near that cliff. Moron! It's almost perfect, save for two annoying issues aging the game. One is deliberate, the other isn't. Deliberately, there's no way to drop close-range tools like chain whips or shovels. Once you pick one up, you have to get punched or finish a level to let it go, which is really annoying when Williams can chuck the axe like a knife. They could have used the start button to let you drop your tools, but that wasn't a common thought in 1988. When you're the first to make something, you often don't think of everything. Let's cut the old game some slack. The timer bug on the hardest settings is not intentional or excusable though. The service manual for the American version recommends arcade operators set the timer difficulty to hard, 65 units of time instead of 70. No big deal, you think. And it isn't most of the game. But the last stage is supposed to give you 90 units no matter what. If the timer settings are on anything other than normal, it ignores this rule and overwrites the 90 with whatever the operator set it to. That's bad. You'd think someone would have caught that before the ROMs shipped. Yet another consequence of games being sold on such short notice. Despite this glaring problem, Double Dragon 2's still considerably fairer than any of the crap Midway or Atari games were putting out at this time. Last, Double Dragon 2's attempts at telling deeper stories than most arcade games should be honored. It's not that important compared to the action, but it's worth noting it tried to do something beyond beating up the big evil bad guy. It plays out exactly as you'd expect until you destroy Willy, at which point there are no fanfares or parties. The room turns glum as the space empties for you to fight yourself? Wait, what? It's not explained clearly at all, but Billy, and Jimmy, if he's there, are not alright even after destroying Willy. Wiping out the crime bosses didn't magically bring Marion back to life or erase the grief. They're literally fighting their own sorrow inside their heads so they can move on with their lives. That's pretty heavy for a late 80s action game, which society typically saw as dumb or whimsical. And it still is. The characters can't express emotions on their faces. Only adventure games could do that without eating into everything else. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it is an awesome way to end a video game. And more importantly, it was proof of concept for showing action games can be emotional. The cherry atop a delicious knuckle sandwich. Once-in-a-lifetime games like these deserve nothing less than an S, with Double Dragon 1 earning some elbow grease for historical value. Thank you for everything, Mr. Kishimoto. May you meet your hero, Bruce Lee, in heaven.